All right, so welcome everyone. For those of you that have been watching my Let's Draw Mohawk Storm video series, welcome back. You are watching phase 2 of the Let's Draw Mohawk Storm. And in this video, I just want to talk to you about molding. So what I'm doing in this video is I'm taking the sketch that I had created in the first video and molding it into the character that I want the basic structure to be. So it's just like I like to compare it to using clay or Play-Doh. For some of you watching this video, I'm sure you're familiar with working with Play-Doh or clay at some point in your life, and it's pretty much the same concept. All you're doing is just you're tweaking it and erasing and making changes until it is what you want it to be or what you want it to look like. And that's all I'm doing in phase 2. I'm molding the basic structure sketch into what I want the actual character to look like. In this video series, I want to have it in 7 phases, because after I do this, there's going to be a cleanup phase, and yeah, that's going to come before I do the inking and then the coloring, then laying down the shadows and the lighting, and I was going to close it off with some effects. So yeah, so when you creating your character or creating any pose or illustration, it's good to rough everything out and have like a basic rough of it or a basic form of it, and then afterwards you can just go ahead and start shaping it up into what you want it to look like. The beautiful thing about drawing is that you can make as much changes as you want. It's your illustration, it's your creation. And that's not to go and say that if there's something that's off proportionally or doesn't look right, that you just keep it that way and say, well, this is my art. Yeah, don't be a lazy artist. It's always good to take feedback and take criticism, or be able to look at things that's off and fix it and change it, instead of getting in the habit of, I don't feel like changing, I'm just going to leave it that way. And you know what, since I mentioned it, I'll just go a little bit into like taking criticism and getting feedback. One of the things that can be hard for some artists is that artists can tend to be a little sensitive about their work. And what I mean by that is, we don't like people, sometimes people don't like, artists don't like people telling them anything. They want to feel like what they created is right, or they just want people to like it and say, oh, it's good. But there are going to be some cases where, you know, or situations where you could have drawn something off a little bit, or something could be off by a little, that's making the whole picture look a little off or throwing everything off. And if someone gives you good feedback or good criticism, it's good to be able to receive it and make it right, or fix your work wherever it is that is, whatever area is lacking in. And there is a difference between the constructive criticism and destructive criticism. Destructive criticism, in my opinion, is when someone just tell you, oh, I don't like it, it looks terrible. And, you know, they can't tell you why it looks terrible. You're asking them like, well, what is it? What can I do about it to change it or fix it? And all they say is, I don't know, I think it's terrible. That's destructive criticism, because they didn't provide any information to tell you how to fix it. And they're just being completely negative about the whole entire illustration. They're not telling you what looks good about it or anything. Constructive criticism is when someone tell you something's wrong with it, and they can pinpoint exactly what it is that's you know, that's making it off, or what's wrong with the illustration that you had created. And yeah, if you think it's good or right what they're saying, then it's up to you whether you're going to receive it or not. And my suggestion is, or my advice to you is, if it is right, just fix it. Go ahead and fix it. Don't fuss about it or anything like that. You know, just make the changes, because all it's going to do is make you a better artist in the long run. So it's always good to appreciate people that, when they're trying to give you good criticism or feedback. There were times where I would see like artists that were really hard at taking criticism or having their work critiqued by whether it's an instructor or a fellow artist. And what happens is that they get good at drawing bad, if that makes sense. You know, they kind of stay stuck in their ways in that area, and they'll improve in other areas. But that one thing that is like a huge noticeable flaw about their work, or when they're creating characters or doing poses or something like that, it stands out like a sore thumb. And yeah, it sticks with them for a long time because they just never were good at taking advice. And I remember when I was in college, and I actually ran into an artist who he couldn't draw at all. His skill wasn't there in anything. And it's not a matter of me saying that, oh, he can't draw, in my opinion. Like, no, he knew that he wasn't a good artist. But every day, or as many times I would run into him, I used to always see him in the library practicing. And by the time I seen him in his senior year, his work was so much better than when he started off. And I was like really impressed. I was like, man, that's really nice that he actually took the time out and knew that he had to improve his skill in drawing, and he did that. So yeah, it's good to take feedback. It's good to want to improve as an artist and continue to develop your skill. But yeah, as for this video we're watching here, yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about that, being able to take criticism and being able to take the sketch that you started off with and mold it into what it needs to be. So as you can see in this video, all I'm doing is just putting the details on the character after I had gotten rid of all the structure. Once I was satisfied with the structure, I got rid of all the structure lines. I no longer need them. And then I started putting all the little detail on the character, or decorating the character into what I would like for the character to look like. And I chose Mohawk Storm because I think she's really cool. And yeah, I just wanted to give her more of like an edgy look. So an edgy look mixed with like a real classy look. So here's my fusion here, and I hope you like it. I look forward to finishing this video series. If you enjoyed this video, then hit that like and subscribe button. You can also check out some of my other videos. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestions for future videos you would like to see me do. Thank you for watching, and God bless.